Warhawks know what it takes to become champions. At the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, our student athletes pursue excellence with a determination that inspires everyone on campus. Warhawks are smart. Warhawks are strong. Warhawks value service. We prepare our student athletes for life after college. The University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. Come be part of the Warhawk family.
Whether you live on campus or commute, University of Wisconsin-Whitewater's 13 dining locations offer many benefits while working for dining services. From meal prepping, catering events, to working alongside others, dining service is flexible with hours, customer focus, and offers management advancement. University of Wisconsin-Whitewater's dining services, where coworkers learn to work together in a friendly environment. To work for dining services, contact campus-dining.com/UWW or stop by one of the 13 locations to get your application today.
Hi, I'm your host Myron Jacobs, and welcome to Eerie Theories, the latest TV show to decipher popular conspiracies and that explores the mysteries of our world. On today's episode, we're going to be breaking down HAARP and the weather control conspiracy. Let's start with breaking down what HAARP is. HAARP stands for High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. It was founded in 1993 by multiple government organizations, including the Air Force and the Navy. The goal of HAARP from 1990 to 2014 was to research the physical and electric properties of the Earth's ionosphere, which can affect our military and civilian communication and navigation systems. It was originally created to analyze the Earth's atmosphere. Now, HAARP is owned by the University of Alaska Fairbanks. When turned on, HAARP can temporarily heat up a specific part of the ionosphere. HAARP claims that this isn't a form of changing the weather though. The HAARP conspiracy claims that the government can control the weather, and they do often. Not only that, but they can also alter the way that we think by frequencies given off by the IRI, or Ionospheric Research Instruments. HAARP has 33 acres of these machines. This theory became very serious in October 2016 when two men from Atlanta tried infiltrating HAARP with automatic weapons. They were inspired by the theories on the internet claiming that HAARP was controlling their minds. Famous conspirator Nick Bijich, the author of Angels Don't Play This HAARP, has made over $1 million from his book about this very topic. He claims that we have evidence that the government has changed our mental functions. He says that the technology is capable of changing the way people think by locking on to a certain frequency that the brain reacts to. There are no public records saying that this is true, but Nick's logic is that if the government has technology capable of doing this, then they're for sure going to use it. I 100% agree with that statement. Believe it or not, the government has been talking about controlling the weather for over 40 years. Talks began in 1962 when President Lyndon Johnson gives a speech with his famous line, "Ultimately, he who controls the weather controls the world." This was a result of the arms race and the US trying to get the upper hand on Russia. He says, "Imagine a satellite that controls the weather," publicly in a speech he was giving. This tells us that it at least was put in the air and that there were obviously money that was spent investigating how this could be done. Let's fast forward 5 years to the Vietnam War. Between 1967 and 1972, the US spent $3 million per year conducting top secret operations in Southeast Asia. The goal was to extend the monsoon season and flood the Ho Chi Minh Trail, the system of supply routes used by the opening fighters in Vietnam. This was used as a weapon for the first time ever by the US, and it is still unclear how well it worked. This was called Operation Popeye. This is now illegal to try and do in acts of war because of the negative effects it can have on the environment. The question is, do they still use it for other reasons? I don't see why they wouldn't. Now, that's all the time that we had to break down this theory. When we come back, we'll be discussing our thoughts and opinions on this very topic. Stay tuned.
Warhawks know what it takes to become champions. At the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater, our student athletes pursue excellence with a determination that inspires everyone on campus. Warhawks are smart. Warhawks are strong. Warhawks value service. We prepare our student athletes for life after college. The University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. Come be part of the Warhawk family.
Whether you live on campus or commute, University of Wisconsin-Whitewater's 13 dining locations offer many benefits while working for dining services. From meal prepping, catering events, to working alongside others, dining service is flexible with hours, customer focus, and offers management advancement. University of Wisconsin-Whitewater's dining services, where coworkers learn to work together in a friendly environment. To work for dining services, contact campus-dining.com/UWW or stop by one of the 13 locations to get your application today.
The James R. Conner University Center on UW-Whitewater's campus is a gathering place for students of various cultures, backgrounds, and lifestyles. The UC is a great source for information, campus tickets, meetings, entertainment, food, gallery exhibits, workshops, and all of your hot card needs. Whether you're looking for a place to study between classes or just a place to hang out with friends, the UC is the place for you. For more information on the UC, please visit uc.uww.edu or go to facebook.com/uc.uww.
Welcome back to Eerie Theories, the latest TV show deciphering the world's mysteries. We just broke down the HAARP theory. Now let's discuss some thoughts and opinions about this topic. Now we know that the government has been putting millions of dollars into the research And that's just what we know of. The weather machine banned in war, but technically it's still legal to use in any other way. This is where you have to start connecting some dots. If there was any reason to use a weather machine, what would it be for? Money, right? I do 100% believe that the government uses a weather machine, not simply to upset our daily lives, but to create a perfect environment for crops. Places in the world need a certain type of weather in order to grow things, and that's how countries make their money. Why leave weather up to chance when it can affect money, right? Wrong. Imagine what negative effects this has on our environment. If anything, this helps global warming. There have already been multiple public accounts of us changing the weather, and this shows that millions of dollars are still going into research, and it probably will be this way for a while. Now that's all the time that we have for today. Thank you for tuning in, and come back next time for more Eerie Theories.